It's Saturday morning, the 7th of July, and I've just left the marina there now, and I'm sailing on to Fenit today. It's a bit dull, a bit grey. It's still only 6 o'clock in the morning, so the forecast is for southerlies around 4 to 5. Tom isn't with me at all, so this is my third day now. I left Fenit on Thursday down to Valencia yesterday to here, and today now I'm sailing back home to Fenit. So hopefully we'll have a nice day. It's been 2 hours now since I left Dingle, so I'm just coming on here now to Singlehanded, and the sun is starting to come up behind me as well, so that's warming things up. It's been chilly now for the last couple of hours. So that's Singlehanded there anyway. That's the south side of it, of course. It always looks lovely, I think. Bit of cloud hanging there over the mountain. I had a great breeze all the morning, but it's kind of have to dying away a bit for some reason. But I'm still doing okay anyway. So that's the Blasket Islands there coming up, and I should be coming into the sound there in the next 3/4 of an hour or so. That's Singlehanded anyway, from the south side again, of course. And here we have Dunmorehead, and out there to the west of Dunmorehead is that's the entrance to the sound. But there's a submerged rock there called Stromboli Rock, and in the year 1588, September actually, the Spanish Armada were getting washed in along the west coast of Ireland. A lot of them had no anchors because they had cut their anchors off the north coast of France to escape the British burning ships, and they sailed up the east coast of England and down the west coast of Ireland. But in that September anyway, a storm blew up, and 3 of them either ran in here for safety or for refuge. But either way, I suppose they didn't have charts, detailed charts of the area, and when they didn't have anchors either, they had no control over the situation. And the ships came in here, and one after the other, they grounded on Stromboli Rock and sank. So it must have been some sight in 1588 when people living on both the island and the mainland could see these huge ships coming in. It wouldn't be something they'd see every day, that's for sure. So that was the end of those 3 anyway. The sound here has been dived on. I think there was an English company, I think even a Norwegian company dived on it at one point back in the 80s. So the wreckage has been found, and a lot of artifacts have been taken from it. But yeah, it's an interesting story, the whole thing. Okay, so just to give an idea where I am, this is Dingle Harbour here. Now the shadow is going to ruin this, but sure, look, we'll do our best. So this is Singlehanded, this massive land here. That's Dingle Harbour. I left that this morning and I sailed out here, and now I'm just around here at the start of the sound. And that's the down here where the Stromboli Rock that I was talking about, that the Spanish Armada came to grief on. And so my plan now today is I'm going to sail up here, the west side of Singlehanded, and continue on and down into Fenit. So it'll take me another, I don't know, maybe 6.5 hours, 7 hours to do that. So we're in the area now here. So Stromboli Rock now is just about there along, and the companies that dived on it, they didn't have it easy, because between the island and the mainland there's a narrow channel, and all the power of the tide gets channeled into the narrow space. So they couldn't dive on the wreck all the time. They could only dive an hour at high water and an hour at low water. That time is known as slack tide. So that's when the tide turns. There's an hour of little activity or little current. So that's the only time they could dive. So the slow, painstaking work, and obviously they could only do it in the summer months as well. But they did a good job. They surveyed the wreck site very well and documented it carefully and recovered artifacts as well. So that's the sound there straight ahead. I'll be turning up there now in a minute. We have to do this dogleg thing to avoid that Stromboli rock. That's Beganish Island there. And this is the Blasket Moor ahead of us. So that's the Blasket Moor anyway again. And there's a passenger boat there already. It's early in the morning. Yeah, it looks nice. Looks very nice now. The sun's shining on it. Tushkat, Beganish. So here now I've the engine on because there's no breeze really. The bit of wind that's there is behind me. And but the current is carrying me at a fair clip. Like if I'm doing 6 knots there now, but I'd only half throttling the engine, and normally that would be only about 3.5 or 4 knots, but I'm getting an extra 2 knots roughly from the current here. That's why it's important to always tackle sounds with the tide. So if you're going northerly through a sound like this now, you have to wait for a coming tide, otherwise you'll be fighting it and it can get fairly dangerous even in the right conditions, with wind against tide and that. And the spring tide, if we had a big tide, you know, a lot of water, more than usual. But this morning it's nice, benign conditions. I could do with a bit more wind maybe, but you can't have it everywhere. Yeah, this mightn't be that obvious now on the camera, but you can see there the current on the water. You know, the water is very restless looking and unusual, and that's the actual flow of the tide. There's a vast volume of water now flowing here between the island on one side and the mainland on the other. So you know, the full force of the tide is getting funneled almost into this narrow channel, which gives it a lot more power, you know. And on the chart now it warns this area here that I'm sailing in at the moment breaks. So in different conditions, wind over tide or a bigger tide, you would find that you see the whirlpool there now. You would find that there'd be heavy seas breaking here, to be very dangerous for a boat like this, or a small boat, you know. So yeah, this kind of a spot now demands a bit of respect and a bit of attention. But it's not rocket science. You just sit down and work it out. So that headland there is Sybil Head, and that marks the end of the sound now. So I'm exiting the north side of the sound here, and I'm going to turn east now and start making my way towards the Maharees and then on to Fenit. Okay, so the first 5 anyway that was talked about this morning in the forecast finally arrived. They're about half an hour ago off Sybil Point there. It blew up all of a sudden. Geez, I got caught in the hop really. I had to take a reef in quickly, so I hove to for a few minutes and took my reef in. A fishing boat passed by me. I'd say they were a bit concerned, but I waved at them anyway and they carried on. But the one good thing about it is we're making great ground. I'm doing 5.5 knots there with the reefed mainsail and just the staysail out for a bit of balance, or the jib out for a bit of balance. So yeah, so we're passing the entrance to this Merrick Harbour there now. I was saying that earlier, I had to reef the mainsail. What that means is I have to, when the wind gets stronger, you have to reduce your sail area because the boat gets overpowered, and you know it becomes very difficult to steer, and you could do harm as well, or break something, you know. But when you're sailing alone, all that becomes way more difficult because you know you know to steer the boat to keep it head to wind. So what I did was a thing called heave to, which means you back your jib and you put your tiller in the opposite direction, so that kind of holds the boat more or less, not head to wind, but just off the wind a bit, and you can release your boom, and that will give you the sail will flap away, so you can reduce your sail area that way. But yeah, like I say, it's just takes longer and it's more difficult to do when you're alone. And of course the thing is, you put off doing it, and what happens then, inevitably the wind gets stronger and stronger and stronger, so when you finally do it, it's even more freaking difficult. So the trick is, I suppose, to reef the very minute you start thinking about it. That's the time to do it, and not putting it off. So well, the sun came out again, and even though conditions are still a little bit challenging, every now and again, especially in gusts, everything looks just that bit less hostile when the sun is out. I've company over there, there's a fishing boy. Probably pots, I suppose, lobsters. So that's Brandon Point. That's actually, yeah, Brandon Point. There's more beyond that again before I can say I'm in Tralee Bay, like, but so far so good. That 5, I don't know, is it more than a 5? It's fairly fresh anyway. Could be under pressure there for a while. Like I say, when you're on the run, it's easy to be under pressure. This fella, you know, that Fenit boat or Mahari's boat, I suppose. You don't care about the price of diesel anyway, that's for sure. Christian Island is the name of the boat. Oh, you know, oh, well there, yeah. Very well. Yeah, so the wind died and picked up and died again as I was passing Brandon Point there. So now I'm in Tralee Bay anyway, which is great. And a record time. I left, it was about 6 o'clock, and I leave in Dingle Marina this morning. And it is 20 past 12 now, 6 hours, 6.5 hours that's outstanding. Fastest ever. I have to have a word with Tom. Well, things have settled down a bit anyway, so I can have a bit of lunch now. It's a salad from Garvey's in Dingle I bought yesterday. I kept it in the fridge since, so it's nice and fresh. So we're in Brandon Bay anyway, and conditions have calmed down considerably to the point now where I'm fucking only doing 3.5 knots. But a cracking sail anyway. Jeez, I'm well impressed with the time I made. So not bad for an old gaff rig boat, single-handed. So the Mahari Islands just loyal. Yeah. So now lunchtime. The wind is back anyway, Jesus, with a vengeance. And I have my my top sail up for good measure. So we're really creaming along now. But we're still only making 4 knots because the tide has gone against us now, you say. So that's going to slow us down a little bit. That's Kerry ahead there anyway. So we're well into Tralee Bay now. Mahari Islands there behind us, Brandon in the distance. And geez, I did very well altogether. It's 20 to 3 now. I should be in Fenit before 4 o'clock. Usually that's a 12-hour trip, so that cuts it down to 10 hours. That's good going. So I'm back in Fenit anyway after my sail from Dingle. The first time ever doing it single-handed. And 10 hours, I did it in 10 hours. Normally that trip takes 12. So I'm very happy with all that. It went well. There was one incident, alright, where when I was reefing up at Singlehanded, I left it go too late and it turned into a messy job in the finish. But I got it done. So now what I've got to do is, when I left Dingle this morning, I signed on with Valentia Radio, and then when you complete your passage, you get back to them and let them know that you're signing off. The idea for that is that if anything happened during the passage, especially single-handed, that they'd know that you didn't arrive at your destination and there might be something wrong, and they'll probably go searching. So we'll contact them now on channel 24. Village Radio, Sailing vessel.